Good evening, guys. My name's Steve. I started doing these streams. Try to do them every Sunday night just to kind of vent, talk about things that I find funny throughout the week, talk about Biden's declining mental health as it gets worse and worse, and people try to defend it, which is my new favorite thing. My new favorite thing is people claiming that Biden is sharper than ever. And there's a clip from Morning Joe that is completely unhinged. You have to watch it. We're going to talk about the ATF a little bit and then some Twitter beef and whatnot. This isn't going to be a very long stream, but let's dive into it. So this past week, of course, Biden had his State of the Union address, and I'm not really going to cover that too much. However, there is a video from the aftermath of that, which is pretty wild. And we're going to talk about immigration a little bit because that's kind of the controversy that came from this. However, before we get into that, I can't start these streams without showing Biden a gaffe or two from him. So check this out.
In Pennsylvania, I have a message for you. Send me to Congress that I can support this right, and I promise you, we take back Congress, we will restore Roe v. Wade as the law of the land.
I am pretty sure, and I don't know for certain, but I am pretty sure this was within the last week or two. He still thinks he's running for Congress. He's the friggin' president of the United States. He did this when he was campaigning 4 years ago. He thinks he's running for Congress. He has this thing down pat in his brain where he just can't wrap his head around the fact that he's president. It's wild and it's embarrassing. And then people still clap. Yay, yeah, we're going to send you to Congress. It's crazy. I think these people that go to his events, they must be paid. They must be paid actors. Because who can be that dumb, first off, to go to a Biden event and second, to sit there and clap at anything he says? Watch this.
Growth is strong, wages are rising, inflation is down. In fact, the costs have fallen from a gallon of gas to a gallon of milk. We know prices are still too high because of what I call greedflation and shrinkflation.
Oh, man, he can barely read the notes in front of him or the screen in front of him. There's so much to talk about with just this one clip. First off, he says inflation is down. That's not true. It's the rate of increase is down from where it was a year or so ago. That part is true. And then he talks about this shrinkflation. He had this Super Bowl ad, I don't know what you want to call it, but where he talked about shrinkflation, where, for example, a gallon of ice cream is no longer a gallon. It's, 5/6 of a gallon or whatever, and it's still the same price. Kind of tricking people into think that they're still getting the same value for the same price. Now, what he doesn't understand is those companies are actually helping him. So people don't kind of realize the full brunt of what inflation is doing, right? And it's not necessarily a problem. I mean, because even if you said, hey, you're not allowed to reduce the size of packaging. I don't know how he could possibly try to make a law to prevent shrinkflation, but all that's going to do is they're going to raise the price. It's one or the other. Eventually, I mean, these companies try to absorb as much as they can as far as inflation goes, hoping that it's temporary, but eventually they can't lose money, right? So they're going to charge more. Anyways, I'm not going to get into economics so much on this, but obviously Biden is struggling, right? Mentally, can't even read his teleprompter. I'm surprised he got through to the State of the Union address. But what kills me the most is people going on TV with a straight face and telling you that Biden is mentally sharp, right? So you got this guy, and I get it. This is this guy's job. His boss is Joe Biden, right? But just listen to this, for example.
Then made gratuitous, unnecessary, and inaccurate personal remarks, and those are improper. The most difficult part about a meeting with President Biden is preparing for it because he is sharp, intensely probing, and detail-oriented and focused.
Does anyone believe that? This guy with a straight face gets on here and tells you that.
Then,
so listen to Morning Joe. This, I cannot believe that this is actually real. Watch this. Now, as for some backdrop here, this guy hates Donald Trump. I mean, hates Donald Trump. You know, him and his wife, they have some beef with Trump behind the scenes. So they're going to do anything and everything they can to make sure that Trump does not get elected, like most of our media, right? But you got to listen to this. This is so shameless, it's not even funny.
But comparing that guy's mental state, I've said it for years now, he's cogent. Mm-hmm. But I undersold him when I said he was cogent.
So he's talking about Biden, obviously.
He's far beyond cogent. In fact, I think he's better than he's ever been. Intellectually.
What? Okay, I cut him off.
Analytically, because he's been around for 50 years. And, you know, I don't know if people know this or not. Biden used to be a hothead. Sometimes that Irishman would get in front of the reasoning. Sometimes he would say things he didn't want to say. This is...
Which, by the way, you know, well, you know, people like to make fun of the Irish or whatever and say, oh, they're big drinkers or they have hot heads. But, you know, in this day and age, I mean, I don't really care so much about, you know, that. But, like, you would think in this day and age where you call out an ethnicity and as a negative stereotype that these folks would shy away from that. Let's just say he used another nationality instead. He wouldn't have a job, right? So it is weird how it's okay to make fun of the Irish or whatever, but anyways, that's not the point of this.
And I don't really, you know what? I don't really care. Start your tape right now because I'm about to tell you the truth.
If one of these guys ever tells you, I'm about to tell you the truth, it's the exact opposite. They're going to straight up lie to your face. Listen to this.
And F you if you can't handle the truth.
Oh.
This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. Not a close second. And I've known him for years. The Brzezinskis have known him for 50 years. If it weren't the truth, I wouldn't say it. And
do you believe this guy? How does he sleep at night? Well, I guess he sleeps because he probably gets $3 million a day when, you know, doing this garbage show. Yeah, no, it's unbelievable. I would imagine, you know, I doubt Biden's going to win the election. So in a year or two from now, when people ask him, hey, you know, do you really believe that? He's gonna laugh and be like, no, come on, of course not. I just had to say it because, you know, we don't want Trump to win, et cetera, et cetera. So they're just gonna slough this off as if it never happened, right? So these people have sold their soul decades ago, and will say anything they can to maintain their power, maintain their position and rank within the network, within the club, right? So, I mean, obviously that's not true. So, and I'm going to show some older clips of Biden. You could just see the drastic difference in his mental ability. Before we do, this just happened this past week. If you have not been paying attention, Biden called an illegal immigrant just that, an illegal immigrant. And apparently not allowed to say that anymore. They're undocumented. And so out of all the things Biden said during the State of the Union, this was a controversy. And so much so that this new clown I've never seen before on MSNBC had to ask him about it.
I noticed the look of surprise on your face when you walked into the chamber and you saw Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. It was priceless. You feigned shock at seeing her. But during your response to her heckling of you, you used the word illegal when talking about the man who allegedly killed Laken Riley.
An undocumented person. and I shouldn't have used illegal. It's undocumented. And look, when I spoke about the difference between Trump and me, one of the things I talked about on the border was that the way he talks about vermin, the way he talks about these people polluting the blood. I talked about what I'm not going to do, what I won't do. I'm not going to treat any of these people with disrespect. Look, they built the country. The reason our economy is growing. We have to control the border and a more orderly flow, but I don't share his view at all.
So you regret using that word?
Yes.
So, well, first off, this is obviously a drastic change from where he was, I don't know, 10, 20 years ago, and I'll show you on this next clip. But second of all, he said they built this country. He's saying undocumented or illegal immigrants built the country. I don't know what that means, or what he's trying to get at there. But let's listen to an old clip from Biden. Before we do, Dave Smith retweeted this clip and rightly was like, "I don't know what better sums up the modern American progressive establishment more than this: apologizing to the murderer for calling him an illegal immigrant rather than undocumented, with no thought of apologizing to the girl who was murdered for getting her actual name wrong." I mean, seriously, it's insane. I'm not even going to get into that controversy. Apparently, he said Lincoln instead of Lakin, which is pretty darn close, but he did mispronounce it, right? So he did get the name wrong. But now it is crazy that he's apologizing for calling a murderer an illegal immigrant instead of undocumented, which is so crazy. Let's check out two old clips of Biden talking about this very subject, and you're going to hear a totally different tune.
To put it in very personal terms for a moment, Joe Biden, me, I would settle for a world in which I could worry about the same kinds of things that my parents worried about, in which I own.
So first off, you could just see, I mean, now granted, this is old. This is probably, I don't know, maybe in the 80s, 90s. But he's come a long way, okay?
I had to worry about the grades my children got in school rather than the drugs they're being exposed to, in which I only had to worry about the prices my wife had to pay at the supermarket instead of fearing that she might get mugged by a junkie in the parking lot as she loads her groceries into the car, in which tonight I could call my mom just to wish her pleasant dreams, not for the purpose of making sure she's safe in her own home. That's the kind of world I want. That's the kind of world you deserve. In a nutshell, the president's plan doesn't include enough police officers to catch the violent thugs, not enough prosecutors to convict them, not enough judges to sentence them, and not enough prison cells to put them away for a long time.
Wow.
We disagree with the president's decision to cut back on our previous commitment to protect against drugs coming across the border, to cut the Customs Service, the Coast Guard, and the Border Patrol. We think we should do more to stem the flow of drugs across our borders, and we think we should go one step further. Let's go after the drug lords where they live, with an international strike force. There must be no safe haven for these narco-terrorists, and they must know it. And we don't have to promise a world without worry or fear. We're not asking for that much. All we have to do together is to keep our promises and stay together. Thank you.
Is that not crazy or what? Then check out this one out. He's looking a little older here. This is a little more recent. Got some gray hair going on. But listen to this.
Can you scare an employer in this country, whether he's an agricultural worker or a housewife, into not hiring an illegal because the punishment's so high that if you get caught,
yes,
it's a huge embarrassment to your family, and you may just get hit with a fine that'll kill you?
Yeah, absolutely, you can do that. And that's what we should do. Well, I think we should do that.
Because you can't catch everybody.
You can't. No, you can't. And the last part of this is that the Democratic position also recognized you got 11 million illegal aliens here.
Uh-oh.
They have to have a way to earn their way into the deal. This is an amnesty. They're required to take 11 years' worth. They pay a fine. They got to learn to speak English. They got to pass
I like
tests.
the English part.
Yeah.
I like the English part.
By the way,
Whoa, learn to speak English. Wow.
If we want the problems of Canada right now, keep encouraging people to keep their foreign language. English is going to unite this country potentially. It always has in the past.
I can't think of a country that has two languages as their accepted languages that is doing all that well, including Switzerland and/or Canada.
It divides us.
Yeah.
Wow. So what's changed, Joe? What has changed? Very interesting. You know, it's funny. This was a liberal, 15 years ago. It's crazy how far we've come. Where not only is he a complete 180 from this, but they want zero restrictions at all, essentially, for coming into this country. Which, to be honest, when I was first like a libertarian and kind of anarchist kind of philosophy, I was for open borders, essentially, right? Now, of course, that would have been coupled with the fact that, the government is not giving them money. I'm pretty much against the welfare state as it is, but especially for folks that are not American citizens, right? And I realize now that is kind of a goofy take, given our current situation. I don't have a problem with immigrants. I think they can enrich our lives in all sorts of different ways. I've met some great folks from all across the world. I work with folks from across the world. However, with the situation we got now, and it is true, the drugs and criminals and stuff coming in, but it's completely out of control, coupled with the fact that they're giving these folks free hotels, free food, free healthcare, money on a credit card essentially for them to spend, while we have U.S. citizens, veterans, homeless people littered all throughout the country, and they do nothing for them, essentially. Like, it is crazy to me that this is our policy of our federal government and some state governments. So, yeah, pretty wild to hear Biden, explicitly against illegal immigration not too long ago. And then even Chuck Schumer, this was in 2009.
People who enter the United States without our permission are illegal aliens, and illegal aliens should not be treated the same as people who entered the U.S. legally. Illegal immigration is wrong, plain
Whoa! The radical Chuck Schumer.
And simple. Until the American people are convinced that we will stop future flows of illegal immigration, we will make no progress on dealing with the millions of illegal immigrants who are here now. When we use phrases like undocumented workers, we convey a message to the American people that their government is not serious about combating illegal immigration.
Whoa! Now, I realize this is not Joe Biden talking. This is Chuck Schumer, but this guy's still a powerful figure in our federal government. That is crazy. Did you hear that? He said, when we call them undocumented, we're not taking serious the illegal immigration. That flies in the face of this whole controversy this past week. Absolutely insane. This is not that long ago. 15 years ago. I know that sounds like a long time ago. It's really not. It's really not that long ago. It's just so wild how things have changed.
Which the American people overwhelmingly oppose. If you don't think it's illegal, you're not going to say it. I think it is illegal and wrong.
Wow. And he's reading. This wasn't him off the cuff just coming up with that. He was reading like a prepared speech, as most of these folks do. And it's wild. Like, I would love for him to watch this clip and then someone ask him, hey, what changed, right? Anyways, this whole conversation is insane. The policies of the Democrats are insane. Not that the Republicans would fix it, but at least perhaps it would help. I don't know, man. Because the current situation is out of control. All right, moving on to the ATF. what a criminal organization if there ever was one. ATF is completely out of control. These two criminals right here go on Face the Nation with this lady here who doesn't know anything about anything. And I don't know what the point of this was. I do know what the point is. The point is to scare people and to say, oh my gosh, there's ghost guns and scary guns and automatic guns. And they're just trying to scare people and whip up support for gun control. And I debated going through this whole thing. But let's at least watch this super quick clip. This guy was trying to disassemble a Glock.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Shoot. So to put this in some context,
expert forever.
Oh yeah. Well, to put this in context, this guy's a firearms expert, and this is the head of the ATF, and he brought this guy in as an expert, and he had no clue how to take a Glock slide off. And then this guy, who goes by Garantham, just watch this. It's
expert
crazy.
Forever to take down one Glock. How many Glocks can I take down in the time it takes him to take down one? Charles, ready to tie me?
Yep.
Let's go.
Go.
How funny is this? That was quick. That one was quick.
I ran out of Glocks.
Yeah, he's not even done yet.
Get fucked, ATF. You suck. If you can't take down a Glock and it takes you that long, bro, just why even a weapons expert? You have no business regulating firearms, so get fucked. Charles just finished.
So obviously that's funny, and the fact that they brought this expert on, but here's kind of the key takeaway, right? To us normal citizens, we think that these folks in government, like a bureau like the ATF, you think that in order to get to the top of that organization, it came through merit and through knowledge, hard work, experience, because that's how it generally works, not all the time, but generally works in the private sector. A CEO of the company is the founder, or, someone who's worked with them for 30 years or whatever, has tons of knowledge in all sorts of areas. Well, the government's a completely different entity, right? These folks do not get there via their experience. They're politicians, essentially. And, there's all the corruption that goes on with politics. It's the same in all the other bureaus as well, and the ATF's no different. These guys have no interest in preserving your right to own a firearm. Just like every other government organization, they want to obtain power, expand the power, and hold on to that power. And it is crazy because even in this interview, she hints at the fact that, so you want Congress to rule on that, or you want the Supreme Court to overturn that decision? And he's like, oh no. I mean, obviously they want more power and ability to put people in jail because they're criminals. These guys are both criminals. I'm sorry. It is almost worth going through this video, but it's like a 20-minute video. I'm not going to do that tonight. But there is a lot of interesting things that kind of were discussed in this video. For example, right in the very beginning, he pulls up these two AKs. And listen, I own a few guns, but I'm not a gun expert myself, and I probably know more than this guy right here. Probably both of them. And I don't know a lot. I do not know a lot. But in this example, he goes, hey, this is a fully automatic AK, and this is a legal version of it. When he says that you're trying to skirt the law, where if you look at it like a normal person, like a normal citizen, you would say, no, this is a compliant gun. You're complying with the law but not breaking it. You know, yeah, you're getting as close to you as you can, but but it's illegal. It's a legal gun. And, you know, they're trying to get every variation of all these different things banned, and muddy the waters as much as possible. And that's what kind of irritates me about that. And they make it seem like it's illegal or it should be illegal. And obviously that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to say, hey, these things should be illegal. And they're trying to put pressure on, or they're trying to grow consensus of the population in order to elect certain people to the federal government to eventually ban certain guns and stuff. I mean, that's the whole point of this. They're trying to, they put these big, scary looking guns, assault weapons. Anyways, there was a funny segment on this gun here, but anyways, I'm not going to dive too much more into that, but yeah, that's all I got. All right, so moving on. So on Twitter, this lady posted a clip, not her, but some other lady. I'll show you in just a second of this lady. It has like 45 million views or something on Twitter because she had a controversial take. But let's just watch like a couple seconds of this. You'll get a taste for what this girl's all about.
Good morning, y'all. Quick update on the house because I've been pretty terrible about giving y'all these. We took a little break for noodling season and to put out boxes. Now that it's dried in, we can do it.
By the way, I don't know what noodling season is, but I doubt that has anything to do with making noodles or anything in the kitchen, but
at our own pace. But here she is. We're going to stain all that wood a darker brown and the shutters when we get that on.
Okay, so you get the idea. Some country chick, kind of cute. I don't know, talking about building a house or something or other, right?
Good.
And this lady, or this person, Samira, said this accent needs to be illegal and women should be banned from doing manual labor like this. There is nothing feminine about American women. American women are literally men. Yeah, look at this. 43 million views. So this was like a little bit of a controversy. I don't know if controversy, but got a lot of people talking on Twitter. And most people, I think, were disagreeing with her, as I do, right? And this almost seems to me like, you know how you have these red pill bros who are like all about masculinity and, you know, all this kind of thing. It's almost like she's like a female version of it. Like women need to be feminine or whatever. But I mean, she still looks feminine, you know, got long hair. I mean, it's up her here, but like she's not, you know, anyways, let's go to this next clip and you'll see why. Dude, this girl has like 2 million subscribers on TikTok. I didn't look at anything else. I never heard of this girl before, but obviously she has 2 million subscribers because she's
cute. If we hurt these fish when
and
we catch
she's
them.
doing stuff like this where she's out in the middle of a river, probably somewhere in Louisiana or something. I don't know. Catching catfish with her bare hands.
Well, for one,
which is kind
we
of
put
wild.
that zip tie in there. I don't know. We've been doing it for years.
And then, of course, she's doing it in a bikini. So that's why she has 2 million subscribers, right? So, but this lady is all saying that she's literally a man and whatnot. And then this is this chick's profile pic, the one that posted that tweet. And, you know, and then this was from her website. And, like, I mean, maybe some guys kind of like this look, but like, I know, listen, I'm a happily married man, right? So I'm not in the business of looking at chicks and rating them or whatnot, but this is just my cursory thoughts, right? Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of all that makeup. It looks goofy to me, personally. It's not appealing in any way, shape, or form to me. And then compared to this chick, who's basically like a model out there swimming around in a river or whatever, probably a millionaire, multi-millionaire. Yeah, no, please, this lady's feminine. Now, I will say, this lady here somewhat has a point, where if the girl you're dating or the girl you're married to, all of her hobbies are what men do or what, you do, there would be a point that this lady has where, like, hey, some hobbies men should do, some hobbies women should do. I mean, like, if the guy wants to go fishing, he's gonna have to bring his wife every time. I mean, sometimes you just want to get away and go fishing or whatever, right? Ain't nothing wrong about that. Maybe it would be a little bit annoying if your wife did every single hobby of yours and was with you all the time. I don't know. I'm just saying, because sometimes us guys need to have time to go out and think, do something by ourselves, right? Have a poker night with the guys, or whatever, right? So, like, I don't know, maybe that's the only way in which I would agree with her, but yeah, anyways, listen, that's all I got for you tonight. I gotta prepare for a men's Bible study I'm doing at 8 o'clock tonight. I saw this video on TikTok. I'm just gonna wrap up with this. Saw this video on TikTok. When an atheist accidentally proves the existence of God. This is wild.
When an atheist accidentally proves the existence of God.
Okay? If there was a God, there would be a lightning strike in 3, 2, 1, now. Okay, this is very concerning.
Okay, this is very concerning. Now, I don't know if that's the proper way to, yeah, wow, there was certainly a lightning strike. Look at that. Ooh. I don't know if that's the way to actually sit there and test God in order to prove if he's real or whatever. There's nothing wrong with talking to God and asking him to reveal yourself and, be in constant communication with him and whatnot. But, yeah, I don't know, man. Every now and then when these types of things happen, it does make you think, like, wow, that's pretty wild. Now, he wasn't a rainstorm, so it didn't seem out of the realm of possibility that it would happen at that exact moment in time when he did the countdown. But, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should look up this guy's TikTok and see if he's done a follow-up to this. Because this is literally the only video I've seen of this guy. But, yeah, very interesting. God is real. I can tell you that with certainty. And if you haven't come to that conclusion, I hope you do. Pray. Talk to God. See what he says. Read the Bible. Anyways, that's all I got. I don't know. I'm just rambling for a half hour about various things. If you liked it, give it a like. And if you like this type of thing, I don't know. I'll be doing this every Sunday night at 7, hopefully. That's all I got for you. Thanks. Have a good night. Bye.